problems doing the annotated bib, so I wanted to make a video to go over some of the basics of it and try to simplify the assignment. Let me start by showing you what an annotated bib looks like, and then I'll go back and look at the assignment and show you where the information is that you'll need to complete it. So this is a sample of an annotated bibliography that was done by one of my students for English 101, but it's the same basic thing that you're going to be doing. Essentially, there are a few differences, but you can see the basic format of what an annotated bibliography is. The bibliography part of it means that you have a collection of sources and you have what we call the bibliographic information for the source. That's the information that you would need to find the source. So it includes things like the author and title if it's an article, the wherever the article was published, whether it was a website or a magazine or newspaper or periodical of some kind. There'll be a date if it was on a dated source. If you found it online, you'll include the URL, the web address, and then it's optional, but I'm suggesting that students include an access date. That is the date that you found it online. So there's information that I'll show you what format to use for that, for the types of sources that we have. But so basically we have a number of sources here. There's this Bluefin one. There's one by a man named Mark Bowden. There's one by Denise Crimmins, Rose Eveleth, and this. So there we've got several sources here. The bibliography, so annotated bibliography. The bibliography part of it is that we have that information about the source. The annotated part, all that means is that you've made some comments on that source. There's an annotation for that source. So not an annotation in the sense that we do on Perusall, where you make comments in the margin, but this is more like usually a paragraph or a paragraph or two. Which is can be a couple things. It can, most often it's a summary, a quick summary of the source, or it could have some information evaluating the source. So in this case, we have both a summary, that is, it tells what information is in the source, and it has a little bit of evaluation. These students, for this assignment, were finding their own sources, so it was important to me that they evaluate the source. In your case, you have sources given to you, so the evaluation part is not an issue. So what I wanted was summary annotations. So you have 5 sources to choose from. You need to choose 3. And for each of those sources, you'll do this citation part. And again, I'll show you in a minute how to do that. And then you'll write a summary of the source. Now, you should have done that already for one of the sources listed. So you just really have 2 to do. And then you'll put them all in alphabetical order according to the citation, whatever the citation starts with. So here you see we have Bluefin, Bowden, Crimmins, etc. in alphabetical order. So that's all that you're doing. I know I took a long time for me to explain that in the assignment. So let me go back and look at the assignment. So there's some information about annotated bibliography that you can look over, and then there's a quick 5-minute video here that explains it. Generally, annotated bibliographies are a step in the research process. So we're not doing a full-blown research paper here in English 91, but we're getting started with some of the pieces. So the annotated bibliography is one of the pieces that I wanted to introduce you to, because it combines both writing and reading in a way that I think is useful for this course. So the first couple paragraphs explain a little bit about academic research and the importance of summary writing. This is maybe a little bit in the wrong order. I'll rearrange this after I get off this video. You need to pick 3 of the 5 sources that I give in the education folder. Those are the sources that you read the previous week in week 5. They're in Perusall in the library. So if we go to Perusall which is open here somewhere. No, not there. Here. So I've got the icons here instead of, so this is assignments, what's up now here. The library is this one. So if you look into week 5, this is where you need to go to find the 5 sources. So you'll have to, the assignment for the annotated bib asks you to pick 3 out of these 5 to summarize and to do the citation for. So you should have read them all, and then you did a summary of one of them. And then if we go back here, so then you're gonna do the locate the sources, decide which sources you want to do. There's some information about doing summary there, that just to remind you. Then you're going to write a summary of each source, aiming for about 250 to 300 words per summary. So a chunky paragraph or 2 that summarizes each source. Then you're going to do the works cited entries. There's some links to information here, but on the next week I just extract the information that you need. And then you'll put everything together and alphabetize it, the 3 sources, according to what the works cited starts with. And then you can see grading criteria, and then you upload it there. This is week 6. In the week 7 folder, if I can jab at my iPad hard enough, I give you the information that you need for the citation. So what I've done is used this MLA style quick reference and or the formatting and style guide. I can't remember which I dragged these from. I think the Purdue Online Writing Lab. What you've got are basically what we've got are works from the anthology, would be anything that came from that Tales of Two Americas, or an article from an online magazine. That's very commonly the type of source. So most of the sources for the that I gave you from that education in that education folder are from, I think most of them are from The Atlantic. So you'd have the author's name, quotation marks, the title with capitalization for these important words, period inside the quotes, the title of the magazine, the date the thing was published, the URL of it, and then an access date. What comes up as the URL has perusall.com in it. What I'd like you to do is to get the original URL by, if you Google, put the title of the article in quotation marks and Google it, and get that URL that somebody would use who doesn't have access to Perusall. So that's the basics. I think the main issues people had were, I think, were understanding where the articles were supposed to come from. So I hope this clarifies that, as well as some of the other issues people might have had. So I'm going to close out this now. I'll post it in both in the week 6 and in the week 8 folders. Let me know if you have any questions.